Everybody, welcome to a Friday edition of Box Seats. I'm your host, Frank Holder. I'm here with talent and a comedian known as Fig, and these comics have been in the comedy game for a long time. They are joining me on the Friday edition of Box Seats, and these guys have been in the comedy game for a long time, from Def Comedy Jam. They've been in comedy festivals, comedy films, comedy TV shows, everything related to comedy. And now they even jumped on in something that's called a comedy sports talk show. We talk sports. So with that being said, gentlemen, talent, Fig, how are you?
I'm good. Fig looks very refreshed.
Yeah, man. I'm what you call fair to middling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I tell you, every year that goes by up in Connecticut, boy, he drift, don't he?
Yeah. And he looks awfully, awake today. Yeah, I think he looks fresh. Okay, I see you. I see you, Fig. Here's the thing. We're gonna start out the show by talking about a little bit of sad news. Actually, before I even talk, let's do the COVID report real fast. I found out this morning that there's 11 NBA players right now who tested positive, and the NBA said that there's another 14 that's possible to be tested positive too. They're gonna have news about that tomorrow. So we already know, we talk about the COVID report every day about players testing positive and mixed matching games and everything else like that. Talent, any surprise there to you?
No. I think one thing, the good news is, Frank, you this segment, the COVID report, ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
That's the good news. No, I think it's mimicking what's happening just in regular society. If you watch TV and you follow the COVID-19 situation and the pandemic, those numbers spiking as well. So to me, this is a small portion inside of society. So I think the fact that we talked about this yesterday, the fact that there's no bubble and we're going to and from our households and whatever in between that entails, you're going to keep getting these cases. So I'm not shocked at all.
Yeah, I'm not either. Fig, what's your thoughts?
Man, I tell you, like, this is, I'm like piggyback on what Talent said. It's a microcosm of the larger portion of society with the NBA. I mean, they was in the bubble. No cases. They came out of the bubble, and now there's cases all over the place. I'm like, it don't take a rocket science or a genius to figure this out. You know what I mean? It was bound to happen because they're interacting with people. They're going and coming. You know what I mean? This next strain is the one that's highly contagious. He would say even more contagious than the other one, so it's easier to catch. And it just is what it is, man. I mean, it was bound to happen. I mean, it happened to the NFL, it happened to Major League Baseball, and now the NBA.
I think it's even somewhat unfair because some teams are losing their best players out the COVID and everything else, and they're losing games that they shouldn't be losing because their best players not in it. But I mean, we literally, a COVID report could be its own show. We all know that. Like, we could talk about this COVID thing for a whole time, but I'm not going to do that. I want to move on because we got to talk about Hank Aaron. He passed away this morning in his sleep. He was 86 years old. This brother was phenomenal. 21 MVP seasons, 3,771 hits, but most importantly, he broke Babe Ruth's record of 714 home runs. He ended up hitting 756 home runs. Talent, when you hear the things that this man has done in baseball, what's your first thought about Hank Aaron?
The GOAT. Like, he could be in that argument as a GOAT, and I'm sure he is. Depending on when you grew up watching baseball. But me, I did the same thing as you. I went on there and pulled up like some records and stats, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I'm like, this dude is definitely an argument of the GOAT. I mean, I used to have him in there, and then over the years watching the Yankees and all the Jeter's and the A-Rods and the Barry Bonds and all these guys do what they do over the years, the argument widens. But I'm flabbergasted by his numbers he put up, and he still holds records.
Right. Fig, what's your thoughts when you hear about this?
Man, it is definitely it's sad news, and it's also eye-opening because then you get to hear all of the things that he did, the things that he achieved, and the things that he had to also go through. I think it was reported today that he received over 300 death threats every single day. Every day. and they increased as he got closer to breaking the home run record. The thing is that somebody said, you take away the home runs from Hank Aaron, and he was still a Hall of Famer without the home runs.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He was still a Hall of Famer. And you got, he did this, during the civil rights era and stuff like that afterwards, still going through a lot and endured a lot and still achieved at a high level. And this is pre-steroid era. You know what I mean? There was definitely no steroids that they was using back then in that day. So, just an icon, man, in Major League Baseball.
You know what I would say? I would say the thing that struck me the most about him is that at the time when he was breaking records, black kids weren't really playing baseball like that. I think he was one of the most instrumental people who then back in the 60s and 70s was driving young black men to want to play baseball, even though the sport didn't want them to play. That's the one thing that stuck out. And then, of course, when I heard this morning that, he was in line to become the commissioner of Major League Baseball, it never happened. Like, I never even knew that when I was a kid. Like, I thought that was phenomenal. So, I don't know about you, Talent, but if a player like that comes along today, I think you can literally steer some black kids to wanting to play baseball again now. Because right now, let's face it, kids don't, they don't want to play baseball. You know what I mean?
I think a lot of that decision making is made for you inadvertently. Like, what we don't pay attention to is a lot of the time our decisions are implanted into the mind by, when people always talk about options. Like in the black communities, a lot of these communities don't have baseball options. When you see the schooling system, the way it's set up, they may have basketball, they may have football, but all of these other sports, a lot of them don't have a baseball curriculum. A lot of them you can't play tennis, you can't learn golf. Like, all these other sports are set up that when the youth in certain communities are coming up, that's not even an option. So if you never see it over decades, it's the last thing on your mind. So parents are not, for the most part, grooming baseball players. They're grooming football and basketball players because it's at their disposal. Right. If you take a parent that's looking check to check with 2 or 3 boys growing up and got to pick sports, they got to factor in if they got to, migrate or drive an hour or so for practices and games on a regular basis when basketball's in the backyard. Your kid would have to really go hard and be adamant if that's the sport they want to get into. Then the parent got to financially figure that out.
Fig, you want to jump on say something on that?
Absolutely, man. Talent is absolutely right. It's really about access and finances. I think why a lot of black kids don't play baseball because we didn't have a lot of baseball fields in in areas that we grew up. It's easy to roll out a basketball. All you need is a rim. I even remember when I was a kid, we used to play basketball with a crate, a plastic crate, and cut the bottom out of the plastic crate. And we used to play basketball on a crate and put that up on any pole that we could find. Man, we try and get nails and hammers and bang a crate up on some kind of pole or board or something like that. And we made our own basketball hoop. And it was just easier. As a matter of fact, the black community, we played stickball. We didn't really play baseball because nobody had a baseball. We played with the little pink rubber ball and just a stick. So we played stickball. That was our version of baseball. And then even when we got to the chance to play with a park, the park was concrete. So there was no grass and bases and stuff like that. So Talent is absolutely right. I think it's really about economics and access.
It definitely is, because in baseball, you got to get uniforms, bats, baseballs, gloves. And
the gloves are expensive.
Gloves have always been expensive. You got to put all that together versus just getting one basketball and 2 or 3 people go outside and ball. Because you could play with baseball, you got to have a certain amount of people to cover all the bases. You got to have a pitcher. You got to have a batter. Basketball, you can play 21 one-on-one by yourself. You can do anything you want. And you can entertain yourself, and that's just how it is. Anyway, let's move on.
I was going to say one more thing, Frank. It's easier to make money from basketball, to get paid in basketball than it is to get paid in baseball too, because they have to go through that, that farm league before they get to the major leagues to really start making a big money. NBA basketball, it's like, if you're good, you can play.
Right. But I will say this, and just leave it at that. I'll say this: if you get a baseball contract, you're straight, because those that baseball money, yes, that baseball money is long.
Hey, not only that, Frank, you got a better union.
Yeah, that's true too. If a baseball pitcher, you become a baseball pitcher, like that's what $300-400 million over the next 4 or 5 years. Like you don't see money like that in the NBA.
Listen, more concerned is when you think about your future, they got the best union. Their union's so good you could get traded to Amtrak.
Yeah,
same union.
There goes my man talent. Anyway,
analogy.
There it is. Anyway, let me talk on the next thing. Is Jennifer King is making history in the NFL. She now has become the first Black woman with a full-time position in the offensive side of the ball on an NFL team. And first of all, you got to say kudos to her because she's able to do that.
Yes.
Talent, I'm gonna throw it to you and say, it's great. We've been talking about women in Major League sports and everything else for the last couple of weeks. It seems like they're making strides every week. When you hear about this, what's your thought, Talent?
I love it. I was shouting women out yesterday on my show about how, the climate, is in such a great place as far as women go, because the women who really care about equal opportunity and who really fight for it are really putting the work in to do it. Like, it's one thing to talk something and just sit back and say, just do it. It's another thing when you see, the Jennifer Kings of the world actually out there doing it. Like, I asked for these opportunities. I said that we could do it. So look at me do it.
Mm-hmm.
I see that every time I see a female in a position like that. When Becky Hammond had to coach, and step in there, it's like, you're not just a token. You can sit on the side, but that's what, assistant coaches get ready for. It's like one day something going to happen to me, or I'm going to be sick, or I'm going to get ejected. I need to surround myself with people who can keep it going. And kudos to the women that can get out there and lead the frontier on whatever it is they're pushing for. The climate it's a wonderful time.
Yeah, I can't even dispute anything you just said. What you think, Fig?
Man, I think it's an absolute great time for women in America, period, and especially in Major League sports. You see them finally, the ones that are interested getting their due, and it's overdue, and they're doing their thing, and I have to give kudos to Jennifer King, is because the actual sport that she's going to be coaching in is the closest thing that we have to gladiators that there is now. You talk about a locker room culture. I don't think there's any locker room that is more testosterone going on than an NFL football locker room. And the fact that she could be in that climate and thrive in it is just kudos to her. Kudos to the sister because she's doing her thing.
And you got to say, though, if she doesn't improve real quick and everything else, she could set the women movement back, too. So there's a lot
of pressure.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure riding on here. Anyway, let's continue moving on. There's been an update that was released this morning about the Olympics. The Olympics they said they're going to move forward with, first of all, the Olympics was postponed from last summer. They're moving forward. They set a July 23rd date. Now, here's the news. The Olympic people are still concerned about obviously conducting the Olympics because so many of their players who are preparing for the Olympics are still testing positive for COVID. So my question to you, Talent, is do you think that they should continue on with the Olympics this year, or should they possibly, hey, it's the Summer Olympics, push it back one more year? I mean, I know being sick myself and having tested positive, I know that it takes a lot out of you. I know you're not the same. I really sympathize with players like Cam Newton who played with this virus. Like, it's no joke. I know that. So being in the Olympics too, you're exerting all kind of pressure and all kind of strength. I can't even imagine. And not to mention, you only get a chance every 4 years, So my thought process is you're only going to get one good shot. So why not wait for what next year? That's my thought. But Tal, let me ask you.
Play that shit. I gotta play. You gotta put the Olympics on. At this point, and the reason I say that is because at this point, all the sports we've been sitting through and, for lack of a better expression, thugging it out. We've been thugging it out through the bubble of last season NBA into NFL season where we are 1 week away. After tomorrow, Sunday's games, we're in the Super Bowl in 2 weeks. So we've been thugging it through a bunch of stuff, baseball included. We're talking about the best time that we know of. A year later, we kind of know a couple of things about this virus and pandemic. And what we do know is in the warmer months, it's like summer, everything's down. Numbers are down, infections and everything is because of the weather, and it's the Olympics. So we can do 90% of this stuff outdoors. And as long as you're doing it outdoors and you're doing these sports, because your real concern is really in this situation, crowds. It's just got to be a lot of virtual stuff, a lot of less crowds. I mean, athletic wise, I think you could thug through it.
Okay.
These are people, these ain't, unless you got some new Olympian, I don't know about Frank, that's 78 years old. I think we can get through this.
Now, Fig, you agree with me or you agree with him? What's your thought process?
Man, I really think they should push it back because, in the Olympics, there's a lot of moving parts, man. I mean, the Olympics just ain't no regular stuff. You got marathons, you got, the swimming, there's contact sports, they got wrestling, boxing. It's just a lot to go. Basketball, there's a lot that goes on, man, in the Olympics. A lot of contact sports that goes on in the Olympics. And God forbid one of the stars get it. It's pretty much over. I mean, you got to run the 100-yard dash. You can't run that with a COVID. The 400, the 200 marathons, the decathlon. I mean, man, there's just so much stuff that you have to do in the Olympics where it really requires you to be at your ultimate level. It just seems like it's going to be a difficult thing, and God forbid anybody contracts it. They all when you do the Olympics, all of these countries come together in one general area, and they all live pretty much together in like a village, sometimes a village. That is a formula for a contact virus. If everybody, a couple people get it in a village, it starts spreading around.
Yeah, but here's the other thing. My thing is this: is you only get to post your numbers once every 4 years. That's what my reason why I'm like, look, post it till next year, because if you mess up, you got 3.5 more years for you to race off that last number, and that's even if you still even able to qualify again the next time around. You know what I mean? Because the qualifications is still steep. So my thing is, if you push it back, a couple more months or that next summer, that's the reason why I'm saying push it back. I know none of those Olympians want to hear that at all. I know they all want to go for it and everything else because they got sponsorship, they got money.
Not only that, Frank, here's the thing: as an athlete, you have a number of those athletes who are on their pinnacle. They're on that pinnacle rise, and this is that window that the next window, I'm not going to be as good as I am right now.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. We have to keep that in consideration. That we, as a fan, we can't. I always say this about people who do what we're doing. We got to be careful because people listen to us, and we dictate people's jobs sometimes, and state of employment and point of views of other people. So, with that being said, these are some people's livelihood, and this is the end all be all in their life and situation and family as we know it. So, if it gets pushed back again, and I'm not as good as competitor as I am today as I will be a year or two from now, that could be my window. That could be it.
You know what? I can't disagree with what you said. All I can say is that still, if I'm an Olympian, I still would have hope that if they push it back a little bit, I'll still be just as good. Because once you post those numbers and you're bad, you don't get a makeover. You know what I mean? They don't go, okay, well,
but you don't want to miss that window. Like, look, see this picture right here? I'll never look this good in a jacket again. It's beautiful. But the point is, that was a certain threshold. That was a certain window when I took that picture. You don't want to miss that window. And athletics is the worst of all windows to miss because that's something you can't control. Like your body's metamorphosing into another person. You can't control that. So we say, okay, we come back 2 years from now, that guy who would have won, the relay, now he don't win. And God forbid we lose to Russia.
I'm trying to tell you.
Man, tell you something, ain't gonna be no world records break with COVID. I'm gonna tell you that right.
All right, let's continue on with the conversation. Charles Barkley got on TV last night talking about after the Lakers game. I don't know if either one of y'all caught it at the end of the game because the game was late. He basically came out and said that Giannis has got to be way better and should be much, much better in order for the Bucks to win. Now, Giannis, I don't know what Barkley's looking at. Giannis is playing still at an MVP level. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna still throw it out there and say, and say I kind of understand what he was trying to say. But I don't think Giannis has to be much better. I think the team around him has to be way better for them to be able to get an NBA championship. That's what I think. I think Charles Barkley was throwing together his words, and he was off again when he was saying what he was saying. But I'm going to throw it to you first, Talent. You get first crack. Do you agree with Charles Barkley's statement or disagree?
No, I disagree. I think Barkley's in that age bracket now where that NBA dimension sliding in there. Before him 2 days ago was Karl Malone, came out of nowhere. Talking smack, and everybody was like, "What? Like, where you been at? First of all, where's your truck? Ain't you driving trucks?" So, like, you got people coming out in that age bracket that you got to realize. I used to say this about Bill Walton. Whenever he commentated a game, and you could hear the envy and jealousy in his voice and his comments, and sometimes that's going to happen. You got an older retired player. These young boys come in here making a lot of money. For lack of a better expression, with less pressure. It's less pressure on the individual as maybe they had it. And then you got a guy like Barkley who never end up getting a chip. So that guy's going to tell me what I need to be to get a chip.
Right.
I would be like, yo, show me. Since you have the blueprint, where's your chip? Oh, you don't have one. Oh, so this ain't a blueprint. This is a red print. I disagree. I think Giannis is playing good.
Hilarious. That's hilarious. How you know what it takes to win, Charles?
Frank, what you think?
I think Charles Barkley is one of the most polarizing commentators in sports, man. Charles be all over the place. He like Giannis need to Kobe Bryant when Shaq was playing. Michael Jordan was one of the greatest basketball players. Now you take Giannis and Kobe Bryant. Now they went Kenny, Shaq. Not you. I'm not talking to you, Shaq. Kenny. You know that when Giannis. I mean, come on, Charles. I love him, man. He's funny. He's hilarious. But I don't agree with Charles, man. I think Giannis is doing what Giannis has to do, and it really is the coach's job to put the players in the best position to win. You need to take advantage of the talent that Giannis has because he's that gifted on the court. You see the stuff that he was doing. You just need him to put him in a position where he can utilize his gifts the best. You need to put the players around him, and you need to put the players in place so they can be at their optimal level. Put him in a spot where he can do what he does best against somebody that can't guard him. Put him in a pick and roll. Let him go down low. Stop having. He's been doing the same thing for the last 3 years, driving the ball at high speed with the Euro step, going to the basket. We've seen that. Right. Now put him in a position to do something else. He's damn near unguardable on the block. Anthony Davis can't guard him.
Nobody can.
On the block. Put him on the block and let him go to work.
Nobody can. Now on the same show, Shaq said something basically about Donovan Mitchell, and he was saying that Donovan Mitchell really is not good enough. Now I'm going to say this: Donovan Mitchell is talented enough to lead. Is he talented enough to lead Utah to a title, or does he need help? Now let's just say this: Utah won their 7th straight game last night. Their 7th straight. Utah's making work with Spider as the point, doing work. Now, Shaq got Donovan Mitchell last night. He said, yeah, I just want to tell you, you're face-to-face, you're not good enough, you need to do this. And a lot of people, it was trending last night that, people like, look, that was mad disrespectful, but it was coming from Shaq. Now, when you hear that coming from Shaq, you know what I mean? You can't use that same argument against Charles Barkley because Shaq got a couple of rings. So when you hear that talent and he's saying that to Spider, what you think?
Well, I think it's hypocritical because no one person's good enough. Everyone, no matter how good you are, needs somebody. Shaq didn't get none of his by himself. Right. So my argument with Shaq would be like, okay, Shaq, you wasn't good enough. You had Kobe here, you had all these pieces with you. Everywhere you went, but there was always a group of pieces that went with you getting the chip. You didn't go anywhere because I could easily say, hey, when you was in Orlando with not as many pieces, you didn't get it.
Right.
So everybody needs somebody. So when you say is somebody good enough to lead the thing by themselves, I don't think anybody is. LeBron himself had to move around, do his thing, and he's considered the best in the game right now. KD, anybody out there, Steph Curry, these guys had pieces around them. They didn't do anything by themselves. You know what I mean? So that's a contradiction in itself. And like, again, Donovan Mitchell is more than enough to lead a team. But, of course, you put some role players and the proper people around them, why not? Anybody that can cut it off and on like a light switch has that potential.
Right. Fig, what's your thought?
I think I don't agree with Shaq at all because Donovan Mitchell is that dude. He lit it up in the playoffs last year, the year before that. I mean, like when you think about the team, like who really do they have? I know they have Gobert, but when people talk about players and they talk about the top players in the league, who talks about Gobert or who talks about any other player on the team other than Donovan Mitchell? Can you put a team on your back and carry them, to a championship? I mean, they're already getting to the playoffs and already getting deep into the playoffs. Like I think they lost against Denver last year in a game 7. You know what I mean? So I mean they're getting far. And plus, he's still young. He's only been in the league maybe 3 years. I mean, Shaq was in the league a lot longer before he won. And like Talon said, he was in Orlando and he had Horace Grant, he had Anderson, he had Penny Hardaway. I mean, they had a squad and they were balling out and they got beat down. They went to the finals and Houston beat them with Akeem Olajuwon. That was Kenny. Yep. You know what I mean? Kenny was on that team. So I'm like, yo, man, first off, this kid is not in the league that long. And number 2, he's going to need maybe another piece or two, or maybe another piece around him, another bona fide scorer around him in order for him to be able to go, especially when you're going up against the Nets. You got to go up against the Lakers. You got to go up against the Clippers. You got to go Dallas. Oh, man, the West is deep. The West is deep.
Yeah, all right, well, let's switch gears, okay? Let's switch gears. Yeah, I want to switch now. We got to talk about the NFL before we bring in Rodney Perry. With his, I disagree. We also got to do the top dogs, and we got to do the picks of the week. So let's go through a couple of the NFL situations right now. It's been reported this morning that Patrick Mahomes is practicing and has practiced with the Kansas City Chiefs. So Patrick Mahomes looked like that he might be playing. If Patrick Mahomes is playing and everything else, I'm sure that's going to change a lot of people's output of this game. And I'm going to start with you, Talent. Are you surprised with hearing that Patrick Mahomes is practicing? I know you're not.
Roll back the tape from yesterday. What did I tell you? The man is not going to miss that game. I don't care if he got to have the concussion in his back wallet pocket. I don't care. He's going to play in that game. You're not going to keep him from this game. This is too important of a game. So, no, I'm not shocked at all. I expected him to play from and my outcome don't change. Like, and my betting skills say the Chiefs has enough to overcome, the Bills. But my heart, as a New Yorker, you know who I want to win.
Yeah. I already know.
Yeah.
I told y'all yesterday. I was right along with Talon. I was like, listen, you can cut Patrick Mahomes' head off. He's still gonna play.
Yeah,
he's gonna play. He's gonna play that game. Oh yeah, he's gonna be out there. What, get a chance to go to the Super Bowl, and this is the game that you got to win. You think they're gonna put Hen Dog out there? We know we love Henny. We love that dog liquor, but you're not gonna put him out there on Sunday. You drink that dog liquor. We have a little Hen Dog after the game.
You know what these are?
What you got there, Penny?
These are concussion shorts. These are what Mahomes is going to be.
But the big news this morning, guys, is Antonio Brown for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is officially out of the game on Sunday. So now they could double team, a couple of these other wide receivers like Evans and everything else. So I'm going to ask you, Talent. I don't know if you had Tampa Bay going into Green Bay and winning. I don't know if you did or you didn't, but it definitely slims down their chances because Antonio Brown is officially listed as out and is not going to be playing in the game this week from the injury he got last week. So I'm going to throw it to you. What's your thought process with Antonio Brown being out this week?
Hey, good news for my pocket because you know me, I've been riding with Aaron Rodgers all year financially. So that makes me feel a little better as far as Aaron's choices and choices to make. Because, like you said, now you can double team other receivers and get them off the block. At watching last week's game, unfortunately, Gronk ain't got it.
Yeah.
So Gronk ain't the Gronk so you can play off of Gronk a little bit. Like the only success Gronk is having right now watching last week's game is when he stays and works in the tight end slot, like do tight end stuff. The minute they try to go long or down the sideline with these long receiver passes, Gronk ain't got it. So this is good news for the Packers. And no Fig hate the name of the team, the Green Bay Packers, but they might win now.
Fig, what's your thought process when you hear Antonio Brown is out this week?
And the Packers win again. That's what. Your man Antonio Brown, he's a player that can take the top off the field, man. You know what I mean? And stretch it out to where the defense has to really, have to do something different. Gronk, like Talon said last week, you know what I mean? He's a little groggy. He's a little gronky. He wasn't playing he wasn't playing as the old Gronk. He's a little long in the tooth. You played a little long in the tooth when you're a quarterback, but when you a tight end or a wide receiver, them young dogs out there be playing. So I don't know what you can do with that. I just tell you this. I'm torn by the whole thing, but with the age and the injuries and the way they beat him down the last time, I'm not sure that Tampa Tom is going to be able to get by the bad man on the frozen tundra.
Well, before I bring in Rodney Perry, let me just say this one news item. Dwayne Haskins, who was on the Washington football team, signed a 1-year deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's the big that's the big news. And Nick Sirianni from the Colts, offensive coordinator from the Colts, he got hired on as the Philadelphia Eagles head coach. So there's that. Now it's time to bring in Mr. Rodney Perry. And Rodney, first of all, how you doing today? And let's get ready to get that I Disagree segment in there. Rodney, how you doing?
What's up, gentlemen? Always a pleasure, man. Great show up to this point. Today, hopefully we don't drop the ball with this incredible segment. I disagree. Hank Aaron is where I'm going to start today. Incredibly important figure in my life personally. Hank Aaron was that black face when there were no black faces, or very few. Chris Rock had a documentary about American blacks in baseball and our absence, which I think y'all spoke to as well. And as a young man, I played Little League Baseball, and it was very instrumental in my young life. My Little League coach, Mr. Pippen, was all of our dads. Those of us that operated around this neighborhood on the south side of Chicago, Mr. Pippen was there for us. And then we had to look at a great man like Hank Aaron, who transitioned today. The dude was just dope, man. You think of breaking Babe Ruth's record. You think of hitting 755 home runs, but stop right there. I read a stat that they said if they pulled out all of his home runs, he still would be a Hall of Famer from his hitting percentage, from Golden Gloves, from let's look at it. The guy is flat out. He would have still had 3,000 hits, 6,800 total bases, 2,200 RBIs. He passes with a net worth of approximately $25 million, and while doing all this, he did all this while under the gun of social injustice. We applaud a guy like Colin Kaepernick, but there is no Colin Kaepernick without Hank Aaron, and yes, I think it's a sad day. But I think Stephen A. Smith said it best this morning. If you believe what you believe, you got to believe he's in a better place. So rest in peace, Hank Aaron. We might have to have a COVID report for the box seats because Frank had the shit. I had the shit. So we looking for the other 50%. What's gonna happen? Olympics, man. I don't think you can avoid it. You know, I mean, we got a new president. They're gonna be taking this vaccine. If it works, could be the thing that tips and changes sports as we know it. Whether you're an NFL, NBA, Olympic player, hopefully this vaccine is the thing that kind of makes our lives go back to some semblance of normalcy. But other than that, I can't say. None of us can say. NBA thought they had it figured out with the bubble, but you can't bubble a whole season. You can't bubble everybody. Everybody trying to bubble people. You can't bubble everybody. I got teenagers. I can't keep them in the house. How you gonna bubble? How you gonna bubble grown-ups?
Oh, man.
Charles Barkley got a big mouth, and I like Charles. Charles said, Giannis, you need to be better. Giannis needs to be better. Charles is right. Is Giannis a hoe? I don't think so. But does he need to be better? Yes. Like, this dude could be a great player. I think he's going to fade away and go the way of all these other guys that have potential. Shaquille O'Neal messing with this young boy, Donovan Mitchell. You know, we vets, you Talon, Fig, and I, we've been around the comedy game, and people you give a damn about, you approach differently, right? People you give a damn about, you might challenge them a little harder. You might go, hey, dog, you could be really dope, but you got to work harder. And that's what I heard. Now, the media took what Shaq said, and it was like, oh, he came at Donovan, man. It's awkward exchange. But Donovan, he was looking for Donovan to go, hey, dog, I'm cold. You can shut the fuck up. I mean, excuse me. You can stop talking to me, Shaq. This is my language. I think Shaq was looking for the young man to cuss him out. And Donovan might need to employ the services of a Rodney Perry. Let me take the call. What Shaq say? Well, you tell that fat mother. You tell him. I said, kiss my. You dirty. You can. All you gotta do is. Well, bring it on, mother. The kid seems nice. I watched the interview, and he was like, "You know what, Shaq? That's what you want to say. That's what you want to say. You say I ain't shit. Well, all right. I've been hearing that my whole career. Guess what? You ain't do nothing but add some more fuel to the fire. You gonna take that back, Shaquille O'Neal. And Shaquille O'Neal is suspect in my book right now anyway. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm watching a video last week and I saw Shaquille O'Neal grab Kevin Hart and pump him 3 times. Boom, boom, boom. What the hell am I looking at? Shaquille O'Neal sodomizing Kevin Hart on national TV, and this is a joke. This is funny. I'm in the funny business. That ain't never funny. But I digress. Mahomes playing. I'm sorry. I got on a tangent. Hopefully y'all didn't see that video I saw.
Nah, we didn't see it.
That's what happened though. That's what happened when you don't keep it real with a bad special. You guys were scared to talk to him.
I tell you what, Shaquille O'Neal is twice my size.
That's true.
He's twice my size. I could stand on my head and not be as tall as him. Guess what? If Shaquille O'Neal pumped Rodney Perry one time, I'm gonna kill him.
But listen, Rodney, all you gotta do is never name your special. No pumps given.
That's all you got to
do. 0 pumps given? Oh, 0 pump? Take that pump. Take that pump.
I'm just telling you. And I don't make threats.
All right, y'all. That's y'all segment of called Rodney Perry. He calls I Disagree. Now we got my man Fig. He's up now because we know we always pick the top dog segment every week. And it's narrowing down. So Fig, the floor is yours, man. You got the top.
All right, man. Listen here. I'm gonna tell y'all right now before I get started that these 5 top dogs is gonna be a little unconventional. Bear with me. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. You ready for the top dogs of the week? Let me hear you bark out there. This is what we're about to do. I got number 1 on my list of the 5 top dogs, ladies and gentlemen, in no particular order. But number 1, first up, I got to give it to that bad man, Mr. Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean? He did his thing over the LA Rams, 296 yards, 2 touchdowns. He literally picked them apart all game long, 32-18. Mr. Aaron Rodgers doing the daggone thing, man. Aaron, man, that bad man doing it. Number 2 on the list, I got to give it to the old dude, man, that Tampa Tom. He was doing the damn thing, the Tampa Bay Bucks over the New Orleans Saints after getting crushed twice in a regular season. He comes back and crushes Drew Brees for his last game of his entire career, 30-20, a total of 201 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 passing, 1 running, with the quarterback sneak, giving it to him on the Revenge Bowl. Number 3, top dogs, baby. I got to give it to my homeboy, Patrick Mahomes. Now you're wondering why Patrick Mahomes didn't even play in the 4th quarter. So how could I be giving him a top dog of the week? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm giving it to the top dog, my man Patrick Mahomes, boy, over the Cleveland Browns. He threw for 255 yards in only 3 quarters, 17-22 passing, 1 rushing TD in only 3 quarters. I mean, it's just incredible what this kid could do in such a short period of time. Now I'm going to the other sport, ladies and gentlemen. Next on my top dog list, number 4, I got to give it to my man James "The Fear the Beard" Harden, playing with the Brooklyn Nets in his debut, getting a triple-double, 30, 14, and 11. The Nets over the Magic, 122-15. Now here's where we get a little controversial. Ladies and gentlemen, 5th on my list, I'm giving it to the entire New York Knicks team, ladies and gentlemen, over the Boston Celtics last week in a blowout win, 105-75 in a Sunday afternoon matinee. I'm giving it to the Knicks because they're probably the youngest team in the NBA, and they did it to a team that is top 4 in the NBA that is supposed to be going to the NBA playoffs and have a chance to win it all. That's why I'm giving it to the Knicks. I know it's underrated. Those are the underdogs. And those are the top 5 dogs of the week, ladies and gentlemen. And if you like it or you don't like it, let me hear you bark.
I'm not barking because I ain't like that last pick at all.
I know you didn't.
I'm not mad at that pick. I'm not mad at that pick at all. And they beat Golden State.
Yes, they sure did. Yesterday.
I'm mad at the pick for that reason only. He wouldn't pick the Knicks for that. Are you serious? The Celtics had a half team was off of COVID. They had five players.
I know you ain't talking, Frank.
One guy.
First of all, Frank, there's not a team in the NBA that wears that color you got on today. That's first of all. Not one team. You picked the one color that don't exist.
I'm about to break my screen. I'm about to break my screen. I'm sick of this.
It's okay. It's okay. You can break your screen and you can wear whatever colors you want. That pick was horrible. Sorry. He should have said Baker. If he had said like I got to get for an losing effort like Baker Mayfield or something like that, I'd be like, okay, I can understand that. But I will say
so you don't agree. You don't agree with what the Knicks are doing right now.
I will say the Knicks are balling lately, but just he had to pick the Knicks game against the Celtics game when they had.
Let me explain why. When we talk about the teams that's going to make it out of the East, number one, the Knicks is never in there. We talk about the Nets, the Sixers, Milwaukee, and Boston Celtics. Now nobody ever talk about the Knicks. We know the Knicks is horrible, but for the Knicks to do a matinee game to come in and blow the Celtics out, that's major. That's a major upset.
I guess it depends.
And how about this, Frank? This you got to wrap your mind around. Ain't gonna be nothing else to celebrate. let the man have his day.
All right, I'll let it go. Wait
a minute, Rodney. Wait a minute. You did say we just beat Golden State last night.
It's almost over.
I'll let him have that one. All right, let's get ready to do the picks of the week now, right? We know the NFL is having their weekend this weekend. It's the big weekend, the AFC Championship, the NFC Championship game. Both games, one's on Saturday, one's on Sunday. The winner of each game goes to the Super Bowl. I'm going to start with talent first, and I'm going to ask you, talent. We got the Bills versus the Chiefs, and we got the Tampa Bay versus Green Bay. So, talent, I'll start with you. Who you got? Bills versus Chiefs and Tampa Bay versus Green Bay. Talent, you up first.
I'm gonna go ahead and take. I'm gonna take the Bills, and I'm going to take Green Bay.
So you got Bills and Green Bay going to the Super Bowl. Okay, yeah. Rodney Perry, who you got going?
I'm gonna take it one step further. I'm gonna take the Buffalo Bills, Green Bay Packers, and I'm gonna pick Green Bay to win the Super Bowl right now.
Okay. Wow. Okay, that's a big pick. What you doing?
Well, I gotta go the other direction, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes to beat Buffalo, and I'm going with the bad man Aaron Rodgers over Tampa Tom.
Okay, all right, okay. I would say this for the record. I was picking Tampa Bay to go all the way until Antonio Brown went out. So now that messes up all my picks. I think Kansas City is going to go to the Super Bowl. I think they are going to face eventually Aaron Rodgers, and I also think Aaron Rodgers is going to win the Super Bowl. So I'm going to leave you all with this. Let me ask you all this last question before we roll up out of here. If Aaron Rodgers, right, I'm going to start with you, Rodney Perry. If Aaron Rodgers wins the Super Bowl this year, is he in the conversation of being the best quarterback to ever live? Because, everybody thinks that Aaron Rodgers is one of the best anyway. And if he wins,
I mean, this will only be his second Super Bowl if he win, right?
Yeah, only his second.
Then no, it's just he don't have enough.
Okay.
He don't have enough. Matter of fact, come on, give me a hug.
I'm fine.
I can give my brother a hug.
Yeah, you give him a hug. What you think, Fig?
You know what? I would say that definitely Aaron Rodgers would be in the top quarterbacks, the best of all time. You still gotta give it to Tom. You know what I mean? But he is definitely up in the top 5 of all time. My top 5 anyway of all time, especially if he wins this one. But he's got 2 MVPs, the Super Bowl, and it looks like he's on track to get another MVP this year. So he's definitely in my top 5. Definitely.
Okay. All right. I could say top 5, no doubt about it. But the question wasn't top 5.
Yeah.
That was the question. That wasn't the question, Fig. The question was the best of all time. That's the question.
Is he in the conversation?
I can't give him the best of all time. I mean, Tom Brady. What has he had? Like 14 appearances? Is that what it? 9 is 9.
Tom Brady has 9
appearances in the Super Bowl, and out of the 9, he has 6.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, how do you beat that, man? I just can't. You can't override that with 2.
So I'm gonna leave this question.
Are there other metrics too, though, guys? Are there other metrics besides, because it's not the NBA? So there's other metrics. I mean, we still look at Dan Marino. He don't have no ring. So are there other metrics in football?
Yeah, but hold on. This is even worse than that. Eli Manning got 2 Super Bowl rings, and he's not even in the Hall of Fame. That's, you know what I mean? He ain't even in the conversation.
He will be. He will be.
I don't think so. Yeah, he ain't in now.
He's crazy.
If he ain't in now, after the 2 miraculous wins that he got, I don't see.
He just stopped playing last year, Frank.
Your chances don't get better; they get worse.
No. He's not even.
They don't give it to you the first year. He's gonna get in. You know why he's gonna get in? Even the fact that he won 2 Super Bowls, the Super Bowls, the team that he beat, that he won over, and his last name is Manning, and that's royalty in the NFL.
No, and it's just not time. Like, you got to be out of the league like five years before you can even get in the Hall of Fame.
Right. But
my thing is, out long enough.
My thing is Dan Marino should be in the Hall of Fame. Eli Manning, even though I can't stand him, he should be in the Hall of Fame. It shouldn't even be a question about it. But let's go. We're going sidetrack right here.
I think you still got the COVID.
Yeah, we're going sidetrack. we're going sidetrack. Let's get back to the question. The question is Aaron Rodgers one of the best, if not the best?
I had it too, so your brain be a little loopy a little bit sometimes.
All right, so everybody's saying that he's not one of the best, right?
No.
He's not the best.
Listen, he is in that conversation already. So with another Super Bowl, absolutely. I mean, here's the thing: it's like you got to look at all the circumstances. Like every quarterback that has multiple Super Bowls, look at their circumstances. You know, when you compare them to other people, the reason why Dan Marino is always in the conversation is because his team, they have a full team to get him there. Even most of the years he had a good defense. What they call the defense? They had a little name of the defense. But then some years he had horrible offense. Then he had the duper years. Then he had so his whole career it never got all together. So he never got a chip.
What about Jim Kelly?
You know, same thing. Jim Kelly went to 4 Super Bowls. Buffalo Bills went 4 times, lost all 4. That don't make Jim Kelly any less good a quarterback he is. To me, the best quarterback of all time, I'm going to go with Peyton Manning. And he only got 2.
You feeling okay?
He only got 2.
Okay, but you feeling okay?
I think you got a fever, Frank.
Ain't nobody better than Peyton Manning.
Are you crazy?
Peyton Manning was a bad boy, man. Peyton Manning was a bad boy.
He's Tom Brady.
Let me explain something.
He ain't better than Tom Brady.
It's not about what you do. It's what you do with what you got. So that makes a person, like a perfect example is a Barry Sanders, right? Barry ain't got no damn rings, but we all know Barry's the GOAT because of what he did.
What?
Peyton had garbage. He never had
Barry Sanders is the GOAT of what?
Peyton Manning leaves that team, goes to a complete team, and gets not 1, but 2.
Okay. He only got 1 ring. He got 2 together.
Yeah, he got 2 together. That's what I'm saying.
He got 1 ring in Indianapolis.
Look what he did it with, Frank. Look what he did it.
All right, but guess what? Tom Brady did with less than he did every Super Bowl he got.
You better stop.
No, because let me tell you this.
End the show, man. End the show.
Hold up. Wait, let me say this. Tom Brady, every time he won, he's always had a top-rated defense.
Always.
Because of Bill Belichick. Every time he won, he had a top-rated defense.
Hold on.
You know what? I don't have enough time to pass you all.
We gotta go.
Now. Because he ain't Tom Brady. When they won the first 3 Super Bowls, they won the first 3 Super Bowls through defense. They won that without complete offense at all. Tom Brady.
That's what he's saying.
Tom Brady.
So take them off of his schedule, right? Take those 3 out the way. Now what?
Now with the last,
he got 3 more Super Bowls.
Right.
Without defense.
And look what he had.
Without defense. They didn't have a good defense. Their defense wasn't even
Tom Brady didn't have weapons out there.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
That's not.
You telling me? Are you telling me Are you telling me I'm a Patriots fan? You're telling me right now that the Tom Brady and the New England Patriots had a top 10 defense the last 3 Super Bowls they won? You're telling me?
I'm not a Patriots
the one they won against the Legion of Boom.
No, the one they won against the Legion of Boom, it was not.
Lucky.
It doesn't matter what it was. It's not what the question.
You know what?
All I know is that he got beat 2 times by the Giants.
Hey, let me tell you something. The left side of the screen on this show is COVID out. only me and Fig over here with negative tests that are clear-minded about sports. You go to the left side of the screen of this show right now. Look at this COVID-19 dynamic duo over here lying out their ass. He didn't have no team to glorious Super Bowl.
I will leave you all with it.
So what are you saying? You saying that Peyton Manning is better than Tom Brady?
You mean to tell me your COVID's so bad you can't hear what I'm saying?
I want to hear it again.
I said,
yo, I hate to do it. You know what?
Yes, I think Peyton Manning is the best quarterback to me in my life.
You know what? I hate to do this. I hate when
that to me at the end, and you can say that all day.
You know what? I hate when people take. I hate when people take a player off another team and put him on another team and say, "Well, how would he done?" But think about this: switch Peyton Manning. Wait a minute.
I'm leaving.
Switch Peyton Manning with Tom Brady and tell me if they win or lose.
If you switch Tom Brady with Peyton Manning,
I'm going to get some gas. Anybody need some gas?
No. The Patriots win more Super Bowls. The Patriots win more Super Bowls, probably. But it is what it is.
So how do you say that? How do you say that, Frank? How do you say that, but then say he's not better than him?
I don't have enough time to explain that to you right now. I have to read. I have to do that.
Like my mama.
But you know what? That's it. We gotta go. Tell everybody out there how they can follow you.
Yo, I'm on Twitter and it's just comedy. Talented comedian on IG.
Rodney.
Hey, Rodney Perry Live on all social media. Go follow my YouTube. Rodney Perry Live on YouTube. My YouTube is blowing up. My Facebook is blowing up. Y'all better get on this great train. My movie comes out March 5th. I'm coming to America too.
Fig is on you.
Yo, I swear I can't with you guys. Yo, I'm at Comedian Fig on all social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. But y'all all know Monday through Friday, baby, it's the box seats, 1 to 2 p.m. We the best sports talk show, period.
Now, starting on Monday, if Tom Brady wins, I'm calling everybody here right now. I'm calling Talent right now and saying, okay, Talent, Tom Brady's better. He's the best. He's the best.
Don't call me. Don't call me because you call me, you're gonna get a whole nother argument. We're gonna go back. If Tom Brady, when you are in the basement of all sports, bro. My player argument, that's still in play. It took me the whole show to figure out the color, Frank. You know the color you got on? The coat Bernie Sanders was wearing at the inauguration. That's that color. It was bothering me the whole show. Sit back, cross your legs, get some minutes.
All right, y'all, we out of here. We'll see y'all.
Where's your mitten?
Where's your mitten? Monday, 1 o'clock. We'll see y'all.
Have a good weekend, y'all.
Bernie Sanders.